Even know what time it is. My name is Carl, the host of this podcast slash live stream, and welcome to Recovery Revolution Live. What time it is? My name is Carl, the host of this. And we had feedback. Where did that come from? Was that you, Brett Morris?
It was not me, no sir.
I
would never do such a thing.
Interesting. All right. Well, guys, welcome to the live stream tonight. We want to welcome everybody who is joining us from all over the world and the U.S. We have always a lot of people coming onto the stream tonight, and we are being joined tonight by Brett Morris, Mr. Zach Small, and JR down there. Welcome, everybody. And we are so excited to have you guys joining us tonight. And our guest tonight is Zach, and Zach is a amazing man. He is a Navy veteran with 8 years and 2 deployments. Zach is currently 34 years old, and Zach is 1.5 years sober after going on a 20-year binge for drinking. Zach has quite a following here. In 2015, he is the founder of the alphacommunity.com, which is a blog, YouTube channel, and podcast. And he also is the founder of Forebear Clothing Company in 2020 and the owner of Fraternity of Excellence, which is a private men's community. So, Zach, welcome to the stream tonight, brother. We are so happy to have you on.
I'm pumped. Thank you for having me.
All right. Excellent. So, how's everyone doing tonight, man? You guys are doing good?
Doing solid, man. Thanks.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the conversation, brother.
All right. We got the fellas in the house tonight. Ashley is off doing some school stuff. So JR is stepping in and helping out tonight. So JR, we are very happy to have you on. And it's always a pleasure to see and talk to you, sir. So yeah, welcome. And Zach, I want to thank you for your service, brother. Fellow veteran myself. And we appreciate everything that you've done for your country. And thank you for coming on the show tonight. Absolutely.
No, likewise, man. Love it.
All right. Cool, man. So it's Monday, man. January the 10th. We got a lot going on today. We got a lot of stuff going on in the news. A lot of great recovery happening in the rooms. I saw Heather give us a wave. Thank you, Heather. Always good to see you. Thank you for joining us again. And we have Ian. Always good to see you too, sir. Welcome back to the show. So, all right. And Zach, welcome to our show, brother. So tell us a little bit about your story and how you've kind of come into recovery. And we also want to talk about your podcast and your channel and stuff, and the multiple organizations that you helped found and currently run. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously we're talking sobriety and recovery. So let's start there. I can go all the way back, and alcohol is a part of my life. And the main points I remember it being a problem was when I was 13 years old and I was suspended from school for drinking on school grounds. And from there until 33 years old, I was a binge drinking fool, right from the first sip all the way, to the very last. And it's important to note that throughout that time, I didn't have any major milestones that told me, hey, you should wake up. Yet at the same exact time, I had every metric as to what should have woken me up. So from 13 until 19 years old, I was in my parents' home, and drinking was something you did. Drinking was something that the men did. Partying hard, giving your all to everything. And I thought I was doing the right thing by drinking more, trying to outdrink people. They want beer, let's do shots. They're going to do one shot, I'm going to do 5. I was trying to prove something to nobody. I didn't learn that till way later, but at that moment, I thought that's who I was. I was a part of my identity. I was the party guy. I was the extreme guy pushing the limits. I joined the military at 19 years old. I joined the United States Navy. And that's where I really screwed my head on straight. That's when, and I'm not saying sobriety, but me in my mission in life, it got screwed on straight. I was motivated, energized, pushing forward, but I was also in that culture. So, and as some of you are aware, in the military, you work hard, you play much harder. And I did that. We'd party till 3 a.m. We'd be ready, clean shaven, squared away at 05, 06, lined up, ready for muster. And
Amen.
No one thought about that. That was never a discussion. That's just how it was. And that's what we did. And so from then I left the military after 8 years, not because I did not enjoy it, not because I did not want that sweet pension at 39 years old. I left because I realized early on I could not be a good father and a good sailor. I was volunteering for every billet. I was volunteering for every deployment, all IA billets, which even really Navy billets. I was just trying to go and serve my country because it was country, then family, then self. And so in that order, that's what I gave my all to. So I left after 8 years. The mission went on without me. All of that went on without me. And it was in there that I realized I wanted to do more. I wasn't going to be the veteran who just got overweight, addicted to painkillers, and then ended up living under a bridge, because they always paint that picture of, oh, that's what's going to happen. I wanted more than that. And so instead of being the guy who says, well, I used to be somebody, I used to be in the military, I used to be the man, I was like, no, I'm going to keep that going. I'm going to remain the man. And so I started the familyalpha.com, which is my blog. And then I started talking about men and just being men and how to keep that purpose with a wife and children. And then I co-founded and then ultimately became the sole owner of Fraternity of Excellence, a private men's community where men are coming together to talk, how do you actualize that success you want to attain? And then fast forward, I had checked all of the right boxes, man. I was making money online. I had successful brands. Anything I touched was growing with followers. My family was connected. I was coaching youth sports. We were winning championships together. I was raising, my son and my daughter to great new heights. My wife and I were doing fantastic. We had everything locked in except my drinking. I was working my way to becoming a daily drinker. I created multiple six-figure businesses while drinking daily. I created, great connections. I was giving public speeches, motivational speeches, but I was drinking my ass off. And I didn't realize I wasn't running to, being that guy to lead others and have a good time. I was running away from a lot of my trauma. I was running away from something. And mostly that was fear. There's a lot of things I was afraid of that I couldn't face, and alcohol helped me numb that. And it reached the point I have to give a shout out to a buddy of mine. His name is Phil Foster. He runs philfosterfitness.com. That was the one friend who really gave me that tough love speech. He really sat me down. He's like, dude, you are doing some good things, but this is going to destroy you. And you're sitting there talking about how to be a great man, how to be a great person and a good person. You love your children more than anything. You love your wife more than anything, but you don't love them more than anything or yourself more than anything because you're not willing to love them enough to give up the alcohol. And dude, that shook me on a way that I can't even describe still. It's a year and a half later, year and a half sober. And I think back to that and I get that nauseous pit, and it was because I was being a hypocrite. And I hate that. That is worse than being a bad person, pretending to be a good one. If you're bad, be bad, but don't pretend you're good if you're not. And how am I going to tell these dudes, don't let the food consume you? Some guys are addicted to, there's various outlets men are addicted to. And I'm telling them, get over it. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, look, I'm doing all these great things. My family's locked in, but nobody was going to challenge me because I was the guy who the perception was it was all together. Your drinking can't be that bad if you're successful. How many CEOs, how many bosses, how many great athletes have we seen destroyed by alcohol because they were doing fine until that one moment they weren't? And I'm here to tell you, brothers, I danced that razor's edge so many times, and somehow I'm sitting before you without ever having gotten caught. And so to kind of bring that full circle, on July 7th, 2020, 3 days after a bender on 4th of July, because go America, and then days later, I'm sitting there and I saw a photo of myself and I had it encapsulated everything I felt. I was feeling weak, fat, sad. I was trying to outwork my worst habit, and it was gaining ground day by day, man. And so I hit the point where I was sitting with my wife. We were sitting on the couch. We had 4 bottles of wine in the fridge. One of them was open in our glasses. And I looked at it, and just something happened in that moment. Phil's words came to my head, looking at my wife, looking at all the things I'd done. And in that glass of wine, it's like that whole thing it was like a movie. The whole universe was just swirling around with all those fermented grapes. And I looked at it and I was like, I'm done. I'm done drinking. This does nothing for me. There's no positive this brings to my life. And I tried sobriety before. You guys are content creators. I'd made YouTube videos that had hundreds and thousands of views that said, hey, I'm sober. And then I went back to drinking a week or two later. It was ridiculous. Yeah. But this time was different. And as Ian said right there with clarity, 100%, man. I was holding that and I had the vision. I could see finally, kind of, because we did finish those 3 bottles, but we finished them at 11:59 that night. So it was midnight of July 7th that I became sober. And I've not had a craving. I've not had any withdrawal outside of, I couldn't sleep the first few days, but no withdrawals and not a sip, not a desire to sip, not a desire to drink. and then two other people who played a great role. That was Ed Lattimore and Annie Grace. Ed Lattimore, he's a content creator, awesome dude. Highly recommend everybody follow him. But he wrote a book called Sober Letters to My Drunken Self. I believe he's 8 years sober, and he's the one who let me know I wouldn't lose my art of writing and speaking if I got sober. And I was that tortured artist, right? I had that in my head. And then Annie Grace, This Naked Mind, the book she wrote, was the first time I read a book and I saw myself in it. And so through all of that, that brings me here to you gentlemen, sitting before you. 1 year, 6 months, and like 3 days sober.
Wow.
Congratulations on that, Zach.
Thanks, brother.
I totally get it. I totally get the military thing. Work hard, train hard, party harder. There was many nights many mornings where we just rolled in and had to fall right back out for PT. And
I would get smoked and I would feel the booze sweating out of me.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That morning workout. I 100% get that.
Yeah, when our platoon ran by you, you knew we were out drinking because you smelled nothing but beer and liquor. The military is not big on enforcing that or even offering the classes back when I was in. Because I never even heard of AANA back then. As long as you got up and did your job, they're like, okay, do what you do.
And that was the thing, and that's the problem many face is because I didn't have a DUI, because I didn't have any domestic issues, because my finances were straight. Nobody questioned me. Nobody asked me if I was okay, because those are the appearances of success. But one of the things I've been rolling with is you don't want to look successful. You want to be successful. You want to embody your values, not espouse them. I can go on stage and talk motivation and controlling your life all day. But if I can't control myself with alcohol, am I being honest? That's what was killing me, man. I had a hard time with that because I do place a lot on authenticity and honor. And I felt like I was sort of betraying both of those or turning a blind eye to them.
Yeah, absolutely, man. In the military, they install and give us our core values, right? For the Marine Corps, it was honor, courage, and commitment. And when we look at those core values, even 20 years later, after my service is completed and everything, I still look at those core values as something that I need to try to do, and now to the best of my ability, right? And so when I look at those core values, and I was looking at my life previously, being an addict and active addiction and everything, it's crazy to see how we change our perception on the way that we will keep those values that the military has instilled in us. And so for me, when I got clean, getting back to those core values, even though I'm no longer in the United States Marine Corps, getting back to those core values, but also getting back to the core values of the program that I'm working with, Narcotics Anonymous, too. And realizing that just because I don't do something perfectly right now, it's okay. And, as long as I'm doing it to the best of my ability, and there might be times when I take a slight step back or, stumble a little bit, but it's how I react to that stumble or that step back that defines me as a person in recovery, or that will define me as a person in active addiction.
That's the thing. Think about what you just said. How many people will slip and they're like, all right, I'm going all the way back to the beginning.
Yeah.
No, dude, you got to have some controls in place, some friends, something to where if you stumble, you fall back 1, 2, 3 spots, not 35.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, and JR, are you military service?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I can't.
I was going to say, he's rocking the brand.
Is that
Army, man, 8 years.
Oh, the Army. Oh, the
Army, Marines, Navy.
Okay. All right.
I think Brett was in the Coast Guard.
No,
Brett,
I'm the odd man out.
I'm
the odd man out. No military service here.
Were you a Boy Scout?
I was a Boy Scout. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, wait, what is the voice? Is it 3? Is it? No, maybe
it's 3. Yeah.
3. Okay. And the sign of Spock. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's one of the things. That's one of the things I noticed when I was out there, that I totally, turned my back on all my core values that I learned while in service. And it wasn't until I was sobering up when I went to the VA that I found that brotherhood again, that camaraderie. And that's what really propelled me to get my shit together. I mean, because, you know, out there on the streets, you know, you isolate, you're alone, you're hanging out with people, you know, just as worse or just as bad as you. But, you know, coming back into the military environment really, really helped me. You know,
Well, what goes with that too, JR, is the accountability that comes with knowing the people that you're surrounded by, they genuinely care that you exist. They see you and they truly want you to win. There are a lot of people who I realized were my quote unquote friends, but they didn't care. I was their drinking buddy. You know, I was just their pal. But like if I needed actual work, if I called them at 1 a.m, they weren't picking up that phone. You know, and in the military, you have that. Those dudes to your left and to your right, you go down, they're picking you up. Because if they go down, you pick them up. Exactly. And through the fraternity of excellence, that's was my focus with that group. You know, to have a squad of men who are actually doing the work and putting the reps in. Several of the men inside there have chosen the route of sobriety. And they said they could not have done it without the group because they had exactly what you just spoke to. They had someone who saw them. And dude, even today, when I'm making decisions, be it fitness or sobriety or anything like that, I have like their ghost watching me. I have the people that I'm going to let down always watch it. I'm like, I can't do the wrong thing here. You know, these dudes, they're going to see me and I've got to report into them. Because one of the things about me, I share my wins, just like everybody else in social media. I share my losses. Very few people do that. And I would put, hey guys, you know, I screwed up. You know, I missed the gym today. I did this or that, whatever. And I do that because I don't ever want to be exposed as something that's not real.
Yeah.
If you came to my house right now and sat down, I'm exactly who you've seen on the internet. All the images, speeches, all that crap, all that stuff that's put out there, that's me. That's just how that works. And because of that, I'm able to have genuine connections. Like speaking to you guys now, it's much easier because I don't have any lies I've got to keep track of that I put online. Yeah. This is what it is. I just tell the truth and it's cool. That's why we're sitting there talking smack, you know, before we go live. And it's easy because I kind of get your language. You get my language. You can pick up quick with somebody who's real. Yeah. But if y'all were fake, you would have a hard time too. Like, oh, we got to make sure we say this to him. No, man, it doesn't work like that.
Dude, I love it, man. I love what you're preaching, buddy.
Yeah.
Brad, were you able to get his video up? The one
which video?
There might be a few, man.
The lion one.
The best one. You want the best one.
Yeah, the only one that matters, Brett.
No.
Make sure you make the right decision. No pressure.
Brett, you had one job, buddy.
You didn't send it to me.
Uh-oh.
All right, that one's on me. I'll blame that one on Ashley.
Uh-oh. Yeah, Ashley.
Was it in the group text?
She's not even here. She's in school. We can't blame it on her. She's in school.
It was Ashley.
So one of the things that I've really enjoyed about, you know, discussions like this, or just people who, and I noticed this in your past episodes, you know, you guys give just straight advice. Sometimes you'll skip the theory and you go right into like, hey, I did this and this is what worked. And I saw earlier that Ann had said, you know, what tools did you use? And, you know, literally some very simple acts for you to take. The act of drinking was missed. So if you have that missed ritual of drinking, I have found that seltzer or club soda mixed with a cranberry, a splash of cranberry. Mm-hmm. That's a made drink. You grab your ice, you grab your juice, you grab your drink, mix it together. You're sipping on that. I brought a coffee to every party I went to. And I was living in New England when I first got sober. So that's totally normal. Like Dunkin' Donuts is a thing. So we go to a party at night. My wife, and here's a good point. I can't believe I missed this. My wife, who's in the chat right now watching this, she quit the same night as me. So when I said all that to her, I implied it, but didn't say it. She also quit. She's like, oh, if you're done, then we're done. So both her and I would grab a coffee. We'd roll into the party. We'd sip the coffee as long as we could. And then when like, all right, shots, do this beer, whatever, we'd shift to the seltzer because we bring our own seltzers. And so to end, you know, just having something that will fix that oral fixation, to have like something besides water or coffee in your tongue, you know, seltzer was my go-to. And then we started making fancier drinks. We would squish fruits. We would do all these things. Dude, we basically have, you know, just very recently, I became an affiliate for Ritual Zero Proof Liquor. And that's the first liquor that I've tried just to sip on, just to do what everybody else is doing, to look and, you know, have that fancy drink you have by yourself. And in no way does it pull me towards the booze. I don't like alcohol. I don't believe in alcohol. Alcohol is a freaking liar. And I hope you guys know how much I'm repressing the true words coming out because I don't want to start dropping bombs on your channel. But man, alcohol does not follow through on the dreams it gives you. And to Ian, thank you, brother. I appreciate you enjoying the journey. This is what it's about, though, by sharing it, by putting that with you men. If I had not gone public, there are literally, I wish I could screenshot my DMs right now. Literally every single day I am flooded. Thank you for this. Thank you for, whether it's parenting, sobriety, it doesn't matter. People are reaching out saying, thank you for talking about this because nobody else will. And so that's, if I had not spoken about it, we wouldn't be here right now. Ian and all the followers right now wouldn't be getting this because you three decided to do the same. I'm going to own my shit. I'm not going to pretend it's sunshine and rainbows. I'm going to own who I am, what I've been through. I'm going to share with you how I climbed out of that hole. Dude, I cannot commend you guys enough because we need more of this in the world.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
That's something we preach here is recover out loud, because you never know who your story is going to impact. I mean, if one person in the audience hears something that sticks with them tonight, and that's because you came out, Carl came out, Brad came out, and we shared our story. I mean, we're not perfect human beings. We're just trying to do the best that we can.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that's where it comes back to doing it one day at a time, right? And for me, even in early recovery, it was like, breaking it down into sections of a day or sections of an hour or even sections of a minute. If I knew that I was going to be doing something that was going to be really hard for me to handle, man, I have my recovery keychain that I kept on my key ring. And this was something going back to what Ian was talking about, asking what are some of the tools that we used. Man, that tool that I used was holding on to those keychains or the key tags that I would pick up, at a meeting. And so these key tags that we pick up at the meetings, I would put each one onto my car keys. And so if I was at the doctor's office and I was waiting to talk to him about maybe some blood tests that I had done, or talking to people about things that made me uncomfortable, man, I would pull out my keys and I would sit there and literally I would wear the NA logo right off the key tag, and I would wear the back of that key tag on. So most of my key tags don't have anything that they say on it, they're just a color, and so with that colored key tag. But I did that for 2 years until I got my black key tag for multiple years of recovery. And I've kept all those, man. And every year that I get another tag at my year mark for that meeting, I take my old key tag off of my car keys and I put it on that keychain. And now it's pretty big now. Sorry, trying to get my hands. It's opposite from what the screen's doing. So, I'm trying to get my key tag. It started out short, and now it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I keep it on my wall, at work, to remind me of the journey that I've gone on. Because I also think that part of the tools that we need to do is that journey that we have gone on. And we have to remember the journey that we've taken. Because I think that if we forget the journey and all the pain and all the suffering that we went through in early recovery and that detox and, and learning about ourselves and all the uncomfortable moments that we've had, then, maybe we might forget why we're actually doing this. And maybe we're going to start getting complacent down the road. And maybe we're going to say, you know what, I have a meeting to go to tonight, but, maybe it's not that important. I'd rather watch Ted Lasso. And as amazing as Ted Lasso is, we have to be mindful of our own journey and our own recovery.
Who's Ted Lasso?
Really? JR. Ted Lasso is the most educational and amazing show on television right now.
I'm trying to get my wife to watch it, and she.
Yeah,
I'm glad you asked, JR. I don't know.
It's on Apple. It's on Apple TV. It's a comedy series. It's hilarious though. It's really good. Brett, back me up here. Thanks.
I've only seen 2 episodes, but
okay.
I'm trying to get Chrissy on board. I know she's watching because she was commenting, laughing at me being a Boy Scout. So we're gonna start watching that show again, and hopefully you enjoy it.
Yeah, hopefully she will enjoy it. Yeah. So yeah, we're not plugging Ted Lasso, but it's actually a pretty good show. So.
Yeah, I totally agree with what you just said, Carl. I mean, if that's what really helped me was journaling. When I started writing everything down, because like Zach said, alcohol is a liar, addiction's a liar. It's gonna block out those bad memories and start putting forth those, oh yeah, we had so much fun together, and sooner or later you're going to start believing it again, and then you're going to go right back out there. So I agree. I mean, that's what I tell people, that anyone that asks me for advice, I was like, well, start writing it down. Remember how you feel right now and write it down. Let it fuel you to doing better.
Yeah, absolutely. We like, we're only as sick as our secrets. Ian, thank you very much for that one. That is absolutely true. If it's a lame show, you're also to blame, Carl. Yes, no, you're gonna love it. I promise. But yeah, we are only as secrets, or we are only as sick as our secrets. And the longer that we hold on to those secrets, and we hold on to them, and we don't bring them out, we don't talk to them with somebody, or we don't share them with our sponsor, or maybe we feel comfortable enough to bring them up at a group level at a meeting, holding on to that, you got to think about what that's doing to you internally. What is that doing to your mind? What's it doing to your psyche? How many times are you going to be playing that tape out, about how this secret is playing out in your life and what is it doing to you? And now we start looking at, the destruction that the keeping that inside of you is doing. And so it's always good to talk about your secrets. So thank you, Ian. That's a really, really strong piece of recovery advice there.
Yeah, when you think about, growth, and you think about sharing your story, yeah, I think of my thing. I have a lot of irrational confidence, man. When I say that, I mean, literally, if it was the three of you against me, I think I have a chance. You bring 100 guys against me, I'm like, I got a chance. I'm going to go. That's the level of confidence I have in who I am. I didn't always have that. I didn't have that because I wasn't doing the right thing when nobody was looking. And because that compromised my integrity, that compromised my confidence. I don't know if I'm going to be able to last because I don't know if I'm going to do the right thing because I'm not doing the right thing here with the booze. And to what I was saying to Chrissy, when she said that she was rolling and then she relapsed, that's why I write, and it's not, I don't write and I don't speak about this because I want to pick at a wound and feel bad. I'm not chipping up my confidence. In fact, I'm adding fuel. It's like that fire of sobriety, that confidence I have with it, that irrational confidence to where I can take on the world and win. Each time I write and speak, it's a log on that fire. I don't feel bad about the things I did. I was a man who grew up in an environment where alcohol was the cure, the fix-all. If you were sad, you drank. If you were happy, you drank. Everything in between, you drink. I grew up in that. And, it's an addictive substance. I'm a man who is addicted to something that's addictive. That doesn't mean there's something wrong with me. It means my body works properly. It's doing what it was designed to do. My brain was like, I like this. Let's go more. And because of just my normal personality, of just wanting to go all in, dude, I went all in. I give everything I have to everything I do. I give everything to my wife. I give everything to my children, everything to my business. I'm giving everything to this podcast right now, right before you. This is all of me. And to tell you how literal, I don't know if you guys saw this little band. I had a double hernia, and this morning I had it repaired. So I was under anesthesia, knocked the fuck out, had a full surgery. I told them I'm not staying in the hospital because of this podcast. I got out. I'm barely balanced right here because if I lean forward, I'm going to fall on my face. But I told you guys I would do something. This is that important to me. And so I'm committed all into this. And that's a wonderful thing. People will read this. They'll be like, oh, good job, man. That's awesome. Thank you for your, committing to it. Here's the reality. That's what burned me too, though. That's why I drank so hard. So people love to see the motivation all in. They hate the fact that when it's destructive, when it's blowing things up, lighting things on fire, doing drugs, going all in on that side of the house, you're too crazy. And I was that guy. But, back to Chrissy, that complacency doesn't build because I keep talking about it. I keep taking pride and look who I was and look what I overcame. A lot of people are still stuck and I'm not. And how can I help them get to my level? That's kind of what rolls through my head when I write and speak to this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And with the overcoming part, that's absolutely true, man. I mean, what my journey of recovery has been so amazing in the 4 years that I've been clean and sober now. I think I talked about this either on my podcast or on the show last week. I summed up my existence as being an addict and being somebody that was going to work a job that wasn't going to really go anywhere, and and so I was content with this. But at the same time, in the back of my head, I was thinking to myself, I really want to get out of using drugs. I was tired of the effects. I was tired of the come downs. I was tired of all the crap that went along with it. And when you look back and you think about, where your life has gone to this point, it's truly amazing to see if you work a program, if you stay in recovery, and if you do the work, your life will change. It's almost a guarantee. I don't want to say it is a guarantee because, sometimes maybe it's not going to work out, but I would bet everything I have on, if somebody's actually working a program with a sponsor and stuff and being able to see that change within your life.
Dude, double hernia surgery, and you're online with us?
Yeah.
I got you guys back,
Dude,
man.
that's
When you're all in on
that's
something
savage.
committed, you go all the way. It's just a thing. It's not even a thought. My wife is like, "You're insane." I haven't taken painkillers because I didn't want to be sloppy for this. So like, we're all in right now, guys. Like, I'm literally and physically on fire. Like it's like there's just a flame on my lap right now. It's both sides. It's my left and my right. There's a double linguinal, but irrelevant. The point is, when you build that confidence up and you get that thing rolling, this is just a thing. This means when I say this, I mean the surgery. It means nothing to me. This is what hey, shout out to Jackie. This is what we do. This is who we are. That's funny. You give it what you have. If you stand for something, you don't stand for it when the sun is shining. You stand for it in the rain. You stand for it when you're cold and you're wet. I don't love my family only when it's nice and bright. If they're sick, I'm there. If they're hurt, I'm there. If something goes bump at night and it's going to come hurt them, I'm the one answering that door. That's what we do. And it's easy to say, I love my kids more than anything. I love my spouse more than anything. I love my brothers. I would give anything for my fraternal brothers and my inner circle. But if you're not going to answer that call at 1 a.m, you don't love them enough to inconvenience yourself.
Right.
And that's a problem. And I would not, how could I stand and look myself in the mirror and say, I'm willing to give this all I have if, my hips hurt, I can't go on a podcast. I'm just sitting down. I'm not being shot at. There's no enemy knocking at the door. I'm here talking to you guys. I'm very comfortable even in this discomfort. And that's something that you embody it. And to Ian, I almost feel guilty saying this. I've never had a temptation to drink. When that switch flipped, and I talk about that all in, I'm trying my best not to be the evangelist demonizing alcohol. I hate booze. I hate alcohol. I will never drink again. I know you're not supposed to say it. I said that on day number 1. And here I am 550 plus days. I will go another 550 days without drinking because alcohol is a liquid poison. I was spending time and money on a liquid carcinogen. I was literally trying to get myself fat, give myself cancer, and make myself weak and miss deadlines and lose respect while giving my money away and my time away. It's insane. That's how I view it. I don't like to go on those rants though, because I get it. Some people can have a sip and put it down, and I don't want to blur those lines. Like, you do you. But for me, heck no, it's the devil.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have a similar thing. So when I finally went to the hospital and right before I went into the hospital, I told myself that this is something this is my out. I'm being given an out and I don't have to use anymore. And so that's why I gave away all my paraphernalia and all my drugs and everything. And I haven't looked back since. And for me, I haven't felt any temptation either. I've had using dreams, and a couple of them were pretty freaking real. And I remember waking up from one in particular and looking around my room and looking for paraphernalia, looking for the drugs, looking for the pipe, because it really felt like, I had screwed up big time and I had just given away all my clean time. But other than that, I haven't had any desire to use. And I know that not everybody, like you said, Zach, not everybody feels that same way a lot of the time. And they do have those triggers and they do have that draw to go back. And I work in the recovery field and I see it all the time. But yeah, for me, it wasn't really that desire to use anymore. And I don't go back and I don't miss it. In fact, one of my normie friends asked me, he says, "Don't you miss drinking?" And I told him, "Hell no, man." Are you kidding? Like, no, this is the best decision that I've made in my life.
Well, you tell them too. I still drink. I drink water. I drink seltzer. I can have a soda. Exactly. I can have all these. I just don't drink booze. I still I enjoy liquid.
Yeah, exactly. We need liquid to survive.
I mean, think about athletic brewing. Oh, I love beer. Well, if you love the taste of beer, athletic brewing has 0 alcohol. Have that. And then you realize, well, I don't want the drink. I want the drunk.
Right.
And that's where I take a different path than most. And I was talking about ritual, same thing. Oh, I love whiskey. Well, do you love the taste of whiskey or do you love getting smashed off whiskey?
Mm-hmm.
What are you really saying here? Because if you won't buy 0% anything, then you're trying to get the buzz, chase that. And then you have to ask the question, why? Why do you need to run from this life? Or does it amplify? For some, it does. They treat it like a nootropic. So I don't ever want to pick fights with those guys because look, do you? My co-partner and co-founder of Oak and Rock Fatherhood, he drinks. Him and I get along fine. And he's one of the most productive men I know. So I'm not going to talk about booze in that sense. I want to talk about me with booze. So I just need to make sure people know where I'm coming at from this, because I have a lot of friends who drink and they're awesome, motivated dudes.
Yeah, absolutely. So Brett, you're quiet today, brother.
Everybody's chatty. Everybody's chatty.
Yeah.
No, I was listening to Zach's most recent episode. Actually, I didn't get to finish it all the way, but I listened to about an hour and a half of it today at work, and he was talking about they were talking about parenthood and fatherhood, and one of the things they were discussing, he was talking about like being his authentic self, which he's talked about quite a bit tonight on the show. But I was curious, like, how did you find that balance, or just balance in general, man? Because that's one area that I struggle with, because I have that same mindset of like being all in, and I'm always going. I always have projects I'm working on, whether it's this show, my podcast, stuff with my home group, work, other commitments. Like, I feel like I'm always constantly going. So like, how do you find a balance in life, or how do you maintain things? Because I feel like at times my life can just be completely out of control.
For most, the biggest issue is they don't have a cornerstone to their personality, to their livelihood, to their mission. And what I mean by that is there's not one rock that you base all others off. And for me, there is. So my cornerstone is family. If this doesn't jive with my family, I don't do this thing. Alcohol didn't jive. It helped with that decision. My businesses, I ran them in a sense. I mean, dude, I started out in the corner of my bedroom, and I had to do it at night because I refused to not see my kids. And I had to do it on certain days because I refused to not spend time with my wife. And there were times where obviously I had to be like, hey, I can't, watch a show or go do anything tonight. I've got a guest coming on, so she understood though. It was a give and take. There was balance between the two of us. But if you're just like floating around in a ship and you don't have a compass, well, then you don't know where you want to go. The wind can take you this way and you're like, all right, I'm going to start a podcast and get rich. And then the wind takes you that way. Oh, I'm going to start a YouTube channel and I'm going to share my mission and my vision with the world. Oh, we're going to start a clothing brand. The wind's going to bring you everywhere. And you have no way to just grab the rudder and steer where you want to go. And you have no map or compass to decide, hey, that's the direction I need to go to get what I want. So for me, having that cornerstone, I allowed to build everything from it. The Family Alpha was built around family. The YouTube channel was built around family. But again, I knew my true north. I knew what my vision was. I'm still not at my vision, and I've done quite a few things, but it's all based off family. And if it doesn't work for them, it doesn't work for me. And so therefore, I've passed on a lot of opportunities to go speak at places, tour certain places, connect with certain people, because I'm like, you don't jive with my message. We can't work together. I can make money off you for sure, but it's not about the money. It's about family. And because I focused so much on what was true to me and living my truth, the money came, the time came, the freedom came, all of that followed. And I just stayed true to me. And to this day, everybody thinks more is better. Dude, I just removed all non-contributors to my Telegram channel, 365 to Sobriety. I have less members now. I removed 30% of my private group. So I hit my bottom dollar financially in order to provide better value to those inside. Nobody's lurking. You're active or get out. You're working with these other men or you should leave. I can't trust you because I don't know you, because you don't share anything. And if you were to wear my shirt with my brand on it, or you're going to go out in public and say, hey, I'm a part of Fraternity of Excellence, yet here you are doing all these negative things and stupid things, you would make me look bad. So anybody I did not know or trust, they left. And people would say, well, why are you doing that? That goes against everything that online says. Because I'll whittle it all the way down, family. If I can't trust you the same way that I have to trust if you could hurt me, which would hurt my family, this isn't working out. It's not about money. It's not about status. It's not about follower counts. It's about family. And from there, if you can build from that, and for you, you'll have to choose what that stone is. But dude, we live in an age where there's infinite opportunity, and therefore people choose nothing. because they have so many ways. I can go this way, I can go that way, I can go that way. Back in the day, I could go to college, I could pick up a trade. That I could join the military. It was easier in the sense that there were less options. With the internet, everybody's trying to make money online. With the state of society and our economy right now, people are kind of just grabbing what they can. But everybody's looking either to double down on their commitment to the system, or they're looking to break free. And for me, my family's better if we're free to live the lives we want to live, not the one we've been told to live. And so again, I just moved recently from Rhode Island to North Carolina, over 650 miles away from our support network, from our friends and our family, because in North Carolina, we had the lifestyle and the mindset that we wanted. And so again, choosing to do that was not hard because the cornerstone was family. My family's better, even though it was obviously stressful to go and do that. So we went, we did this thing, and now everybody's starting to thrive. We're settled in, we're growing. And so for you, the conversation would come down to what it is that you truly stand for. What's that one thing? And then let's build around that. Let's grow. And I would love to have this conversation, on the side that we can go a little deeper in the details, but this is what it's about. We're now having a connection. Those watching are having a connection. You should be thinking about, how can I apply the advice this dude just shared? Don't just sit and listen to the Recovery Revolution. Don't just sit and listen to anything or watch anything. Use it as a tool. This dude, Zach, showed up. He said some things that maybe I jived with. All right. How do I apply it? So that was Anthony that was giving a shout out to down there. He's a solid dude. But look, as you go through, how do you apply that information? Don't just be a well-read man, a well-listened man. Be a successful man. Actualize that by taking all this knowledge you're getting and putting it into motion. Apply it. I mean, Carl, you dropped some nuggets when you're talking about your approach to tracking the keys. Dude, leave little mementos. Stack those mementos. That was making me think of challenge coins, man. You look at all these, like, look what I did. And dude, anybody listening to you, I would hope would be like, oh shit, I could have this. So every time they think, is this worth it? Maybe I should just go back. It was easier that way. And they look at that. Nah, look at how much I've done. I'm just having a bad day. And that might be what saves them. But it's only if they apply the information that you shared. And to me, that's the point of what we're doing here.
Absolutely, man. And and those nuggets, like you were talking about the challenge coins, and I keep my cigar box here, and and I've got all my Marine Corps challenge coins and stuff in there that I've kept over the years. And I even got a coin here from my rehab that I picked up when I completed the first phase of rehab, and all of these little tokens and medallions and keychains. And this is one of my 90-day keychains that I always keep a clean one, because I want to frame these up one day and do a nice display of them. But keeping stuff like that and remembering the path and journey that we've gone on, for me, is so important, because like I said earlier, if I forget where I've come from and forget the journey that I've taken, then I really, I don't want to have that complacency. And complacency for me is probably the scariest thing that I could face right now in my recovery. And it doesn't creep up, but it just means that I need to be vigilant about where I'm at with my recovery. I need to be vigilant about my meeting attendance. I need to be vigilant about going to my sponsor's house on a regular basis. So when I get done with a meeting with my sponsor, before I leave his house, I say, hey, when are we booking our next meeting? And I put it in the calendar. I don't wait for him to call me and say, hey, let me send you a calendar and we can pick a few dates, right? I always make sure that I have that booking solid before I leave his house. And I say, if you don't have a booking time for me, then I'm going to sleep on your freaking couch until you give me a booking time, because, because that's how committed I am to my recovery. And I know myself, because if I don't have that check and balance system for myself, man, I'll be watching YouTube videos all day, and I'll be sitting on my Tempur-Pedic bed with my feet kicked up and watching Ted Lasso for the 800th time. And, and doing all these things, right? Because in my mind, I know that I can become super complacent really fast. And so I have to do things in a certain manner in order to keep myself in check. So making sure that I have that appointment booked with my sponsor. I keep a regular appointment with my sponsee on Monday nights. In fact, tonight. So I will be leaving the broadcast early tonight to go to my my meeting that I don't have a commitment at, but I've committed to go with my sponsor and my sponsee. And then we do dinner afterwards. And so having this regular routine, right? And having that routine, just like if you're in treatment, they make sure that you have a routine. They make sure that you follow a structured program. And I have to have that structured program within my life. But now it's up to me to provide that structure for myself. And it's up to me because I can see myself now doing things that I need to do. I don't need to have the guidance of a counselor within a program, or I don't need to have the guidance of, a peer support specialist, because I'm new to recovery. The guidance that I use is my higher power. The guidance that I use right now is my sponsor, and also, helping to guide those within the program.
I was waiting to comment until the big photo dropped. Go ahead, JR.
Sorry, guys. My stream deck didn't work just then. I was trying to switch back.
So fired.
Carl, so, I mean, when you find yourself in the role of not just the best leaders are also students, to see you basically the hybrid, you're with the one who's guiding you while you guide the next.
Yeah.
The accountability there, again, going back to my point on ghosts, it's like you have to make the right decision. But guess what? If you don't show up in person, if you're like, it's not worth my time, you start to slide, man. You stop putting skin in the game, which is your time, which is your energy. You showing up, you being there, that next dude's watching you. And here's the thing that I've learned about helping men and helping people in general. Mm-hmm. You help one man, that could lead to that one person helping 10,000 people. You never know who or what kind of influence that person's going to have. A conversation that you and I have, me and Brett, JR, we could have a conversation publicly, and that could impact one person. And that person can go on and start a global brand that helps millions of people get sober. Mm-hmm. You have no idea. But you do know one thing is 100% certain. If you don't show up and you put nothing into the world, if you don't throw a rope out there, not a single person can climb.
Yeah.
They can't get better. You will never offer anybody help because you're not putting yourself into the arena. You're sitting on the stands watching others. People can sit and watch us and critique. Oh, you're sober? Try it, man. Join us. Right. Join the conversation. It's not a threat. It's a challenge. Yeah. Like, do this. This is a family-friendly, come on in. Let's get all hands on board. That's just kind of how I roll. But it's important to me for people to realize you're putting yourself on the line. You put your nuts on the chopping block because you don't know what kind of questions are going to be asked. You don't know the standard you're going to be pushed to. You don't know if the person you're sponsoring is going to have a really tough time and they're going to dump that on your shoulders, and you need to be able to react properly. And I said react, I meant respond, because we don't react to things. Reacting is not a positive. You're reacting to what they're doing to you. But if you have a proper response for them,
right,
you can help guide them. Hey, yeah, this is hard. Thanks for throwing that at my shoulders. I didn't have enough going on, but you know what? I'm here for you. And then you help them out, dig forward. What an amazing opportunity and thing that you're doing for that. Hey, it's just incredible to hear.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. And, and you talked about that response too. I think that having a response is really crucial, but also a response that you can have for somebody if, and I get this at work a lot. I work as a clinical supervisor for a rehab out here, and I don't always have the answer, even though I would like to think that I had the answer. And early in recovery and in my addiction, especially, I always wanted to be the person that had the answer. So my response was either the truth or it was going to be a made up answer. Right. And what I've learned in recovery is that it's okay not to know. It's okay to admit to somebody else that you don't have the answer that they're looking for, but you can do the best of your ability to try to find the answer or to try to correct what you're doing for that person, right? Because, one thing that I had to learn is that we're not perfect, and it's okay not to be perfect, because that's what makes us human.
And that's how they relate.
Yeah.
To Anthony's point, the courage to live authentic will literally save lives. Dude, this goes back to my point in social media. I can't relate to the dude with a perfect life. And how the heck can you trust me to help to your story and relate to you if I've never touched the fire? People can say, oh, fire is hot, don't touch it. No, but what about the people who've been burned? They know why you don't touch it. They don't understand why. They know it. because they have the burn, they have the scar. Dude, I flew too close to the sun. I was burned. I've been there in multiple areas of my life, but I share that so people understand you're not a bad person for having gone through bad things, and who you were does not dictate who you can become. Only you can do that. And if you aren't willing to accept that you are your problem, you're never going to get to the point where you understand that you're your solution.
Right.
You can solve your problems because you made them. Give yourself that power. Give yourself that just cheer for you as much as you cheer for all these other people. Don't root for me on here and then go and look in the mirror and say, oh, I'm shitty. I'm a bad person. I'm not that. No, root for you. You're the hero in your story.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And and I love the fact that you said don't let that hold you back from your own potential. And so two quotes that I really love in recovery, and I have them on two of my apparel shirts for the Drunken Worm podcast, is that do not let fear hold you back from your own potential. And my sponsor told me that about 2 years ago when I was applying for a job that I was really questioning, like, am I qualified for this counseling job? It was with a really big company, Acadia Healthcare, and and I had a lot of doubt because I was just coming out of an internship, and I'd worked in a county rehab facility, and so it was going to be a big change for me to go from a county facility over to a private pay sector facility, and so there was a lot of doubt. And so he told me that, and it's really stuck with me because I listened to him and I took the advice, and I went for that job, and I was able to get that job, and I was successful at that job, and it really felt great to come across that. And the other one is that that I really like telling new clients when they come in to our facility is that a lot of people come into recovery with different backgrounds, right? You might have somebody that's been incarcerated. You might have somebody that is, a CEO of a company that is struggling with an addiction issue. You might have an athlete that's struggling with an addiction issue. You might have a stay-at-home mom that's struggling with an addiction issue. And, it does not matter who we are when we fall down. What matters is who we can become when we stand back up and dust ourselves off. It doesn't matter who you are. What matters is that journey that you take to make yourself a better person and to become that better person.
Amen.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a t-shirt giveaway. Family of Excellence graciously donated one. And we
just
also
blended like
run...
3 different brands right there. I just want to point that out. That was like 3 different companies smashed into one.
Fraternity of Excellence.
It's 4 Bear
we also
Clothing
want to
Co.
run your video. Brett finally got your video hooked up.
Yeah, let's run the video real quick, and then we'll
Awesome.
We are
talk about
lions.
the giveaway. Here we go, video time.
I want to win, absolutely, but I'm not going to win at the expense of my family. I'm going to win with them. I'm going to win, and it's going to be like the tide. My friends are coming with me, and every man in this fucking room is coming with me, to include the ladies. We're winning together. All these boats are going to go up because that's how I operate, and that's how I'm running my family. So when you see all these people telling you all these reasons why you should stay down, they want you to stay down. Especially, we talk a lot about the crabs in the buckets. People want you to do well. They don't ever want you to do better than themselves. Because once you start to surpass them, they're like, hey, get back here. You got to try. I wanted you to lose some weight, but not all the weight. No. You've got to win. You want friends who cheer for you when you pass them. You want men in your life, you want individuals in your life who, when you do better than themselves, not only do they clap for you, they come to you, they swallow their pride, and they say, hey, can you show me how you did that? There are a lot of men in here, I'm willing to assume, have a really hard time with that.
Dude, that's it, man. I love that video, dude.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
That's awesome, man. Was the music live?
No, I added that
No?
after the fact.
Okay.
A little clip.
'Cause
But I
that
mean,
was-
it should have been live because that was, if I had somebody like
was
drop down
epic.
from the ceiling playing a piano, that would have been pretty legit.
Hey, maybe next time we'll get Elton John to come out for one of
Hey,
your.
Brett
There we
Small,
go.
listen kazoo.
Yeah, I'll bust out the kazoo.
Yeah,
I'll
Brett
throw a
is
picture
good.
up here. I'm gonna throw a picture up here real quick so everybody can
All right.
see the awesome T-shirt that they are entering to win.
Oh yeah, dude.
For Bear Clothing
That's
Co.
dope.
So all you got to do is comment hashtag 4Bear in the comments, and you will automatically be entered for your chance to win. And we'll do the drawing live later on in the episode. So
Nice.
stick around for that. and we'll make it happen.
Yeah.
A quick
That's
point
awesome.
on that. People ask why forebear, and well, why did I make it the family alpha? Well, the family alpha is about me. That's where I write about masculinity in men, keeping masculinity in marriage, and keeping masculinity in fatherhood. Why not fraternity of excellence? Well, this is VIP. You can't buy this unless you're in the group. So forebear came apart because there are a lot of threads out there. There are a lot of companies that have a certain message, and none of them really align with my message. I want strong families filled with strong individuals. I don't want to laugh at dad bods. I don't want to laugh at the wino moms. I don't think kids these days are a problem or they're annoying or the ball and chain. I think strong marriages, I think strong individuals, I think strong children is what we should be representing and standing for. And so forebear is honoring our forebears, our ancestors. They did a lot of work to get us here. And it's our motto that you can craft the future by honoring the past. You honor your ancestors by investing in future generations. So honor your past and craft your future. Play an intentional role in raising them up. And those threads, that's me. That's what represents me. And so I'm not wearing Nike or these things. I don't go name brand anymore. I wear my brands or I wear my friends' brands. Every now and then, if I can't find what I exactly need, maybe it'll be something name brand. But outside of that, man, dude, we stand for a family. And again, this goes back to the point of, well, you say you stand for it. How much though? Are you willing to go out and start a company to build something that's not there for what you want? Because when I left the military, the VFW wasn't doing what I needed. The Boy Scouts weren't doing what I needed. Nobody was doing what I needed. So I built a company that did it. And the Fraternity of Excellence has basically brought the military to the world, except you don't have to deploy. You just connect with the men. You can build that camaraderie and brotherhood. And so when I don't see what it is I want to see, I build that thing. If for nobody else than myself. And that's just how we operate. If the only person ordering from forebear is me, and the only person inside FOE is me and two other dudes, so be it. I'll burn it to the ground if it's being authentic. This is never going to compromise. I do not compromise the integrity of my values. And again, this goes back to what I'm saying about embody it. Live it. Live your sobriety. Own it. Don't just talk about how you need to get sober. You want to get better. Build it. And actually, big shout out to Broken Chains. I understand how hard it is to get this rolling. So I'm buying one of that dude's shirts, maybe more than one, tonight. Because it's just cool to see people helping people. And when I see that in your chat, if he's taking the time or she is taking the time to come into your stream and comment and support and build you up and not just spam with, hey, buy this, but saying, hey, awesome, good job. I'm doing this, working on sobriety. And then they have a business. Those are the people you want to support. Stop supporting Walmart. Stop supporting Trulies. Stop supporting all these places with you. Put your money towards a company that stands for what you stand for. Through Broken Chains, that's what I'm doing tonight. That's how fast these things work for me. I see it, I think it, I decide on it. That's it. This all happened within one stream, and it can happen with your sobriety. That's what happened with my sobriety. And I do feel a little bad. It's not like a real guilt. I mean, it's not my fault I can do something, but the fact that it was so just triggered, like I was just so pissed and I was like, I'm done. It's over. I'm getting off this damn ride before it crashes. I didn't go to AA. I didn't go to any formal program. I read a few books. I'm not knocking them. Anything that helps people get sober is fantastic, but I did not use them. And through that, I don't have much experience with them outside of I support them because they help other people. But for me, the journey had to be done my way. And if if they're trying to do it their way and it's not working, go to AA, go to NA. If they're going to AA or NA, that's not working. All right, try something else. Just keep trying all these different things. You can't be wrong for trying a lot of ways to get healthier.
Amen.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And and that comes back to balance and your recovery and being healthy and taking care of yourself and knowing and listening to your body. Like Zach is listening to his body when he does his repair of his hernia surgery. And
it's actually hurting pretty bad right now.
Yeah, okay. The fire's real tonight. But we listen to our bodies and we don't run away from things that could potentially kill us. Like I was running away from congested heart failure because I was under the impression that I had pneumonia, and I kept going to the doctor and they said, well, it's pneumonia. And then I just got to the point where I was like, well, shit, I'm going to live with this, man. And, and it almost freaking killed me. So, part of keeping ourselves in check and part of keeping ourselves healthy, eating right, exercising to the best of your ability on a regular basis. I know that some of us, we all have different bodies. My body was definitely different a year ago, than it is now. And we have to listen to our bodies. So I'm not saying that, everybody needs to go out there and run a marathon. If that's just not something you're interested in doing, but there's other ways that we can keep ourselves healthy and keep ourselves connected. And also we have to exercise our brain. So brain's a muscle.
That it is.
Keep that thing going. TikTok. Yeah. And Ian almost died from a hernia, or almost not a hernia, excuse me, from pneumonia, from cocaine abuse. Yeah. So yeah, man, I can feel your pain on that one. Methamphetamine use. Meth is a horrible drug.
Mind, body, and spirit.
That's right. Mind, body, and spirit. 12 steps are pretty cool, my brother. That's right. So, Zach, let me ask you a question, man. How do you feel when you hear people say that the steps saved their life? How do you respond to that? If you hear somebody in a meeting, do you agree with that statement?
Well, I can't disagree. They're telling
Right.
me.
Okay. But would you agree with the statement that maybe the steps saved your life?
I wouldn't say they saved my life because I don't even know the steps.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I sort of just, like I said, I just stopped drinking. And it's
Okay.
some people have an issue when I that's why actually I brought it up, because I want to put it all on the table for this discussion. I'm really pumped to be here with you guys.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
let's just have them all the discussions on it.
Right on,
It's
man.
that because I didn't follow anything. I mean, even Ian did it there. Hey, the 12 steps are great. Okay, good. I'm super pumped they're good. I know a bunch of books that are really good. I know a bunch of programs that are really good. I think whatever works for you, go with that.
Yeah.
But when, like, sobriety is not a personality trait. Alcoholism is not a personality trait. And similar to when you were saying, well, you could be addicted as a CEO, an inmate, a felon, whatever, and then as a stay-at-home mom.
Mm-hmm.
All of those things are titles.
Yeah.
None of those things are the merit of your character.
Right.
They are not personality traits. They are things you do for me. There are things that you did, for the prisoner, that you did something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. When I'm speaking to you three, I don't even know what you guys do for work. I don't know what your past is. What I know is the merit of your character speaks for itself in the videos I've watched of you on sobriety.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm speaking to. And so whether you used NA, AA, 12 steps, 5 steps, 2 steps, you pick how many, you pick whatever program, cool. I don't care. You're sober and you want to talk about that. So the merit of your character shows me you want to talk about that. You're interested in helping other people. That's a trait. You're a helper. Yeah. And so to me, it is that simple. And people get super pissed because I like things simple. Well, they try to make it complex. I'm like, no, I just stopped drinking and I'm all done. That's it. There's not much more to this. I wish I had more because I would talk about it more. And it's funny. I was talking to Brett. What we're doing right now is talking about a thing we don't do. But only people, again, who've been burned by that flame understand how hard it is to get away from doing the thing. And that's what we have in common. We're not growing a beard, dude, requires me to not shave. Mm-hmm. There's nothing hard about having a beard. I do literally nothing. Brett and I and JR do less work than you to take care of our faces, man. We do nothing. And a beard grows.
I have to keep my boyish looks.
I'm just saying, you have to do something. So actually, if anyone's looking at work put in, you have more work put in than us. So for us, well, what do you do to stay sober? I don't drink.
Yeah.
But it's always that unspoken thing of I used to not be able to stop and now I did. Yeah. And that's why it's something I do talk about.
Yeah. And I hear what you're saying, man. It goes back to we have to do what works for us. Right. And I think that's what the point that you're trying to make is that, everybody is so different that, for me, the steps worked. And when I brought up the question about the steps saving your life, I hear that a lot in the rooms. And it's something that I necessarily have a partial agreement to, and then a partial like, well, did they really save your life or did you save your own life, right? Because we have so much work that we have to do on ourselves in order to find out about who we truly are now that we've become sober, now that we've taken all these masks off and we've taken all the luggage that we're dragging behind us and we've dumped all that crap, right? And so we finding out the tools that we can utilize and everything. But like you said, We have to do what works for us. Sometimes the steps don't work for everybody. Sometimes they might want to go to an alternative program. Maybe the religious part doesn't work for them. So they're like, well, I don't want to do NA or AA because they're religious. So maybe they go into like a group like Life Ring or Refuge Recovery. Or maybe they join a men's group like yours, where it is, a different type of support group. But I think that having that support for people and being part of a community is crucial if they want to stop using or drinking. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a 12-step community. But if you're trying to do it alone, I think that can lead into some dangers, and that could potentially be setting yourself up for failure. What do you guys think about that?
I obviously completely agree. One of the biggest things that I have seen, this isn't just addiction. This is just people. They don't know who they are. They don't have a clue. They are what they've been told to be their whole life. A lot of kids are told to sit down at your chair, and if you're active, we're going to medicate you unless you can sit down, shut up, and color in the corner. Mm-hmm. So repress all that. A lot of people are told you're too aggressive, you're too competitive, you're too this, too that. Other people are told we don't do that in our family. We're going to college. You're not going to go be an electrician. You're going to be this. You're not going to go be a mechanic. You're going to be this. You're not going to go work on the oil rig, even if that's what they want to do. You're like, okay, I'll be what you want me to be. People talk about they have pain in their soul that they run from and they never address. And sobriety, you start to see the skeletons and you have a choice. You can close that door and keep trying to hold it closed, or you can open that sucker up and just face them and be like, you come on out. I'm going to burn this skeleton from the dark into the light of the truth. And that's why a lot of people find faith. I myself, I was literally the honor grad of my confirmation class, became an atheist, militant atheist, and now I'm back, to Roman Catholicism. Mm-hmm. And it's been a wild journey, man. And again, I am sharing my story. People will have their own. But I went and I had to face a lot of things, dude. It's like I grew up around a lot of drinking. I have faced people think it's a Disney, you come from white picket fence, and that's not where I came from. My mom committed suicide when I was 6 years old. And that kind of set a trend for like the path I was going to be walking down. And so I overcame that. And I had to overcome a lot of things. I spent 5 years in high school. I had to overcome how stupid I was. But I did, and I healed. And I went from the kid who didn't have a mom and a dad who's always deployed to a man who's running a brand focused on family and being present for my wife and both of my children. I went from staying back in high school and still graduating like 317 out of 320. And there were like 10 special needs kids. And they scored higher than me with a GPA. And yet now I have my master's degree. I got my bachelor's, went and got my graduate degree. Yeah. I overcome all the things that I thought were holding me back. And when I realized only I was holding me back. And when you get sober, you can't run from it anymore. You have to face it. And if you're not going to face it, you're not truly going to grow. You have no idea who you are. Face your past, heal from your past, remove family members who are toxic. Remove friends who are toxic. Remove all these other people who are also bringing you down. Back to that video. People want you to do well. They very rarely want you to do better than themselves. And if your parents are struggling financially, they want you to stay poor, regardless of what they say. Because when they start taking those little digs or taking those little shots when you're like, oh, you got a lot of Christmas presents, or oh, nice new car, whatever the hell they say, you're like, why are you not praising? Like, why are you not clapping for me to go past? Like, I'm doing well. Parents want their kids to do better. If my kids have better vehicles, houses, what the hell ever than me, dude, I'm cheering them on. That means I built something well and I invested in them and they went higher. That's the goal. If you truly want to have lasting sobriety, you have to couple it with lasting actualization of self. It can't just be one. You can't just say, well, I'm done drinking and my life's going to get better. It will to a degree. You'll have less calories going in. You'll stop poisoning yourself. But honestly, the real work is done when now you can see clearly. Now that fog is lifted, you can see, shit, this is not a great relationship I'm in. This is not a great way that I've been handling my finances. My body is just blown up. I've got to lock that in. When you do those things, then success begets success. The ball gets rolling, and all of a sudden you're just cruising. You're like, man, I can't believe who I was a year ago. And you have people in your chat talking about it. They've come so far from who they were. They were that person, but now there's somebody better. And as humans, we should evolve. But Carl, I can't agree more. Like, you have to do the work on you once the booze are gone. You have to know who you are.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. So we had Ian left. Ian, thank you for joining us tonight. Like I said, it's always good to see you. A lot of comments from Ian tonight. Good stuff going on there. One of the things that he was asking about was there any has anybody had any psychiatric changes within themselves since they have come into recovery? And for myself, I don't think I've really had any psychiatric changes. My therapist still says that I'm batshit crazy. So that hasn't changed. But I think for me, the whole mental aspect was just to kind of become used to who I was becoming, because, I would stand in front of the mirror and I would look at myself and I would think to myself, who the hell is this? Is this guy standing in front of the mirror? And we talked about relationships in one of the past episodes. And, my sponsor stood me in front of a mirror and said, well, what do you have to bring to a relationship? And shit, man, at that time, I didn't have anything to bring to a relationship. So, sometimes when we talk about the psyche, and especially when it comes off of drugs, a lot of times what we have to look for in a clinical aspect is that we have to wait for the drugs to wear off in order to see if there's another underlying disorder there, right? To see if there's something else going on in the mind that could have been affected by the drugs, and that maybe the drugs have now brought up. Because a lot of times what happens is that people might be a meth user, and now, maybe they've developed a slight personality disorder, or maybe they it has triggered a bipolar type of disorder that was, hidden before they started using. And so, sometimes that can be kind of a psyche thing that comes up for people. But for me personally, I didn't change anything like psychologically. I don't know about JR or Brett or Zach. Did you guys experience anything change in your psyche?
Well, I've been diagnosed with PTSD, anxiety, depression, substance use disorder, and they kind of wanted to put me on meds, but after a few weeks on meds, I was like, I can't do these, because if I'm going to do this, I want to be able to do it, with a clear mind and be able to experience what I'm going through. So I kind of turned down the meds, and long story short, I got better when I got better, when my mindset got better, my mind cleared up, things got a lot easier for me to understand. But, I'm a dude, I'm a veteran. So, maybe I'm not as good with emotions and, relationships and stuff like that. But, it's a process. Like this whole recovery thing, it's a process. I'm learning who I am, and that's what's important. But as for Ian's questions, I'm not sure how to answer it.
Yeah, I can agree. I think I had kind of a similar thing to Zach, where I was going to meetings, but I hadn't come to the realization that I had a problem, and it took me about 2 years, and then just like it was like a light switch, just like boom, all of a sudden I knew I have a problem, and it's like, okay, I'm never going to use again. So I can relate to elements of Zach's story where it's just like, yeah, I'm done, like no more.
I don't know if this falls under psychiatric, but I'm way more peaceful.
Wow,
I'm way happier. I have a great memory now. I have dreams
Right.
now. Like I'm much more consistent to deadlines and achieving things. My energy's through the roof. I'm a lot less fat. I'm a lot more focused. My recovery is better.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's psychiatric, but there's a lot of great things that happen that make me just a much more positive dude.
Yeah, well, I think that is psychiatric, man, because that's playing with your own psyche, right? The way that you
That's
view,
what I think.
the way
Yeah,
that
I
you view
agree.
yourself,
I agree.
because part of our psyche is how we see ourselves. And part of that, when we have negative self-talk, or we talk down to ourselves and say, oh, you stupid, whatever, can't you get anything right, and you're always screwing up and stuff, because that's the way I used to talk to myself. Like, it was rough. But I've had to teach myself to start accepting that, like I said earlier, that we're going to make mistakes, and it's not going to be perfect all the time, even though the Marine Corps and the military and everything instilled a sense of perfection in me, right? When it came to our uniforms, when it came to making sure our boots were shined to a certain proper manner, making sure that our workstations were neat and tidy, making sure that our foot lockers were neat and tidy, making sure that our wall lockers were neat and tidy, making sure that our beds could bounce a quarter off of them, and making sure that we had hospital corners on all of our bed covers, and and all the things that are instilled in us in the military kind of had to be undone when I came into recovery, because I wanted to come with this military manner to myself. And my sponsor was telling me, but it doesn't work that way, man. You have to be able to learn to accept yourself for who you are and your own limitations. But also accepting my own limitations, I have to be able to realize that I can't let those limitations hold me back, because there's always room for improvement, and there's always room to do something better than what I feel that I can do today. And that's where it's living within that discomfort level and being able to accept the discomfort of living there and being able to progress and thrive, even if it's uncomfortable for me at that time.
There's a sort of a mantra, I guess, a slogan I use, and it's find comfort in the discomfort. It's like my spin on embrace the suck.
Yeah.
But if you spell the word discomfort, you have to write comfort.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to find. And that's what you got to focus on. Like, yeah, dude, it's hard. Lifting weights is hard, but you also need it. That stress is how you grow. You die inside a comfort zone. You got to go outside it. You're comfortable being regimented. You're comfortable in a military environment. So it's going to be harder for you. And JR, when he's talking about, diving deeper to the emotions, you're easier being hard.
Mm-hmm.
And for many, that's the opposite. But for you guys, it's the reverse.
Yeah.
You have a much more difficult time opening up the underbelly of like, hey, here's how I feel about this.
Mm-hmm.
Here's why I'm thinking this. And that's harder for you as opposed to, hey, dude, just get the shit done. Okay, I can do that. It's a hard task. Focus on the guidelines. Done.
Yeah.
Hey, but tell me, how do you feel about this? Like, oh, whoa. Pump the brakes there, buddy. We're not talking about how I feel about that. That's difficult.
Yeah,
bro, you just were outside in the freezing cold. Yeah. You're sitting there playing with fire and burning all these things and shooting these guns, but you can't talk about how you feel. Dude, that's men. And that's one of the things I work with dudes a lot on is it's these perceptions of what it is to be a man and then being a man are exactly what the two of you broke down. That was fucking awesome.
You're welcome. We'll be here for another 45 minutes.
Tell that to my fiance.
Oh, well, yeah, there you go. Can we get that in writing? Because that could come in handy later on. Yeah, but it's like you said, that discomfort and pushing through in a military manner, especially, is what I can really relate to from what you were talking about there. But then, because we're taught not to question anything in the military. Zach, if you said, Carl, I want you to go dig me a hole 3x3 and 6 feet deep, I'd say, okay, man. I wouldn't question it when I was in the Marine Corps. I wouldn't question why you want me to dig a hole. If you want a hole 6 feet deep, 3 feet by 3 feet, shit, man, give me a shovel. I'll start digging right now, right? It's questioning without authority. And that's what the military has done for us is and it is essential in the military to have that mindset. It's essential in the military to execute orders without question. But I think the hard thing for a lot of people when they come out of the military is struggle with taking that military mindset and now taking it into a practical mindset now that we're civilians. Because if you're at work and you give somebody a direction that they need to go, if they haven't been in the military, a lot of times what you're going to get is questions. Well, how do you want me to do that? Or, wouldn't it be better over here? Or, and things like that. And so, but you're thinking to yourself like, no, right? But we have to hold ourselves back, and we have to be able to realize that, we have to be able to interact with people, and, we have to kind of break down those barriers. And for a lot of vets coming in, I got to work with a lot of the guys out of the VA in Yountville over at Duffy's Napa Valley Rehab. And we had a whole VA group that we did out there. And so once a week, we got together with all the vets, and we would just talk. And it wasn't even as staff members, because there were 4 other vets. Another JR, what'd you say you were in? Army. Oh yeah, that was it. One of those
It's the
guys.
green shirt, man. You got the red, he's got the green. I'm wearing blue. Like this
Right?
just makes sense. We color coordinated.
Right. That's not the Boy Scout colors.
Sorry,
I know what they were.
I didn't get
You
the
need some
memo.
gold.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I think
guys.
they were gold. I think the Girl Scouts wear green though, don't they? Just kidding, Brett.
I think this is
so-
blue, but I am partially colorblind, so I don't
well
know.
in the light, forest green. Yeah, that's amazing. So but breaking down these barriers where we learn how to interact again with the public, and we're also learning about ourselves. And I relate a lot of that to recovery because I had to teach myself how to do that all over again, even being 20 years out of the service.
I would say too, and maybe this challenges what you were saying, or maybe it's just a different way of saying it.
Yeah.
But the way we see these men, we see these people who are coddled their whole life as teens, then they grow up and then they become man children. They only care about video games and eating junk food and all this. And there's just their whole life is built around comfort. And we can easily sit there and be like, oh, you need to evolve. You need to grow. You need to do these things. I see that with the military. When these guys get out and they don't train, I'm like, you need to evolve. Yeah. You were in a controlled environment, but you're not any longer. You now have to learn to shift these things. You have to, it's intentional stuntedness if you don't. If and this is to JR, one of the things I ask a lot of men, and this is actually from Anthony, the guy who was commenting earlier, he said, look at your priorities. Let me just ask you a question. How many books do you own on finance? He asked me this. I'm like, oh, I own a few. And how many books do you own on fitness? Yeah, a bunch. And business? Yeah, I got a bunch. How many books do you own on parenting? None. I'd never bought a parenting book. And he's like, why would you not learn how to be a better father? Why do you think why have you never looked at evolving into this? And I'm like, shit. Here I am running a brand called the Family Alpha. I've never bought a book that could help me better understand my way. I'll learn about money. I'll learn about my body. I'll learn about this. I never thought about the greatest role I'm going to play in the life of another. And that hit me. And I started bringing that into the conversation on where are we prioritizing other things over these things that we say are a priority to ourselves, and that the connection when you're talking about, well, how can I emotionally connect? If that wall's up, nobody's ever going to come in, which is good because they can't hurt you, but it's bad because they can't love you. They don't know the real you, and you don't know the real them because you've not opened up to see how do they react to the real me. And so there's a stuntedness there. And it's much easier for a military man to learn how to tolerate and connect with people who weren't in than it is for somebody who's never done anything hard to connect with the man who's been to war. There are levels of difficulty to this. The military has the advantage in this one. You just had to sacrifice years of your life and do what you were told forever. But you have the advantage here, so it did play out. And so that's always the challenge that I throw is not only do you have to learn to tolerate them and not punch them in the face for being dumb, but also on a grander scale, you have to learn as to why are you so frustrated that they are the way they are. That's a personal problem. You aren't in your world anymore. You're in their world now. And this has always been the normal world. You took a hiatus onto your controlled environment where dudes are just squared away and did their job. And so that always comes with a little bit of conflict because they're like, whoa, you're trying to say I need to be soft? No, man. I'm trying to say you need to get hard in the areas where you're weak. And right now you're weak with connecting with other people. Get better at it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I can totally agree with that. Yeah.
Should we give away a t-shirt?
I mean, if you want to. You want to give away a t-shirt?
Let's do it.
Have we had people? Have they been throwing down the hashtags there?
They have.
Awesome. Yeah, let's give away a t-shirt.
I'll put it back up on the screen again so everybody can see the awesome shirt.
And the music. I love it.
Yeah, I need to get a little drum roll track.
Get the Chevy Chase one.
Yeah. All right. And the winner of the shirt is David Barnes, the creator of Broken Chains Apparel. All right.
Congratulations, David. Right on.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. I have a symbol crash, but that's about it.
Yeah. Give us after the show and we will get your information, David.
Yeah.
I think we have his information already.
We do.
Yeah.
He bought that. He put that in because I said I was buying a shirt from him.
Right.
That's a good exchange of services. No, that's cool.
Yeah, I bought a pair of shirts off him too when he did our first episode.
That's cool.
I mean, he's got some great stuff on there.
Yeah, and he was an emergency guest that one week when when our other guest no-showed. He just stepped up like 2 minutes notice and jumped on the show.
Wow.
Those are the people you support, man. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying about small businesses, people who stand for those values. I'm not surprised at all that this dude I've never met, didn't even know if he's a man or woman until just now. This person, I had no freaking idea that they were that caliber of an individual outside of they were on your stream sharing those messages. I give him a shout out and come to find out he's a prior guest who stepped up for you guys. That's not coincidence. That's a fact
Yeah.
of somebody embodying and living those values.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think him and his wife work at a children's shelter, children's homeless shelter.
Yeah, they do. It's like foster parent kind of thing, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to connect.
Yeah,
I'll just
He's
link
in
up.
North Carolina too.
I saw that. We're gonna link up.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm signing off for the show. Like I said, I have a meeting scheduled with my sponsee, and it starts in 30 minutes, and it takes me 17 and a half minutes to get to the meeting location, and another 3 minutes to scout a parking spot. But Zach, it's been a really pleasure to meet you. Guys, don't leave. I'm just leaving. The show is going to continue. And if you guys would like to catch any of the episodes from my podcast, you can find them on the Recovery Revolution live website on Facebook. And if you also want to go to my website, thedrunkenwormpodcast.com, you can find more information about myself and the show. And you can also find us on any of your favorite streaming apps. So, JR, thank you very much for allowing me to come back on the show, sir. I look forward to it. And are we making the announcement of what's coming up for next month?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Yeah. Okay. So, guys, if you love the show, we are going to be moving to Thursday nights starting February 3rd. I am going to be a permanent co-host on the show. And we're going to have Brett on here, and Ashley is going to be on the show. The lovely Ashley. She's in school tonight, so she wasn't able to join us. So JR is stepping in, and JR is actually the creator of this whole program here. So JR, again, thank you for all the work that you've done on this, man. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you over the past couple of weeks and getting to talk to you and our crazy chat stream that we have going on off the air.
I see Ashley in the comments.
Hey, there's Ashley.
Yeah. Oh, Ashley, there you are. You haven't left us yet. Okay. So, Ashley, Thursday nights, if you guys want to find us on Facebook, you can always hit us up on our professional pages on Facebook, and also Zach's page and his website. And Brett will be giving you guys a plug over to all of his information before the show is over. So again, Zach, it's been really a pleasure to meet you, brother. Hopefully we can catch up offline, and I hope you guys have a good rest of the episode, man.
Thank you.
Take care.
Go get some blue cheese, Carl.
Oh yeah, my connect with the blue cheese over at Black Bear Diner. I already told her I was coming, so she
Zach,
has
you doing okay, buddy? I mean, you double hernia. I mean, that's got to be painful, dude.
I'm good,
I
bro.
mean, we've had you for 90 minutes now.
I can hang.
Do we want to segue to birthday stuff, JR? Or what do you want to do, man?
Yeah, let's run the birthday stuff and then promote for January's sober shout outs.
All
so
right.
So Chris and I can get a head start on that one.
All right. I'll run the video first, and then we'll go to the slide for the January. All right. Here we go, guys. Woo! Yeah, congratulations to everybody that was celebrating a sober birthday in the month of December. That video was brought to you by Doing It Sober. If you guys are looking for awesome sober gifts and merchandise, be sure to head over to doingitsober.com. They have all kinds of medallions and different memorabilia and stuff, so check that out.
Yeah, the birthdays will be listed in Recovery Today magazine's next episode too.
Nice. Yeah, and then we also have this fun little thing. If you want to be added to that list, look for that post. It's pinned to the top of the Facebook page, and just drop a comment and we will add you to the January video. And yeah, that's what it looks like. It's a GIF, and this is just a screenshot, but that's what it looks like.
Nice.
Yeah. Anything else? Do we have any more questions for Zach or anything else that we want to talk about?
Did
I'm an open book, man.
Did we share
Ask
your
me
link?
anything.
Did we share his links?
I had the fancy QR code for Zach.
Okay.
That is a solid move, man. That's impressive as shit.
That links to all of his stuff. I'll do that because it's covering JR's face. I'll go full screen so people can see it.
Bam, the QR.
Boom.
There's actually a lot of content that's gonna be coming to that. I laid off the blog. I've been working a lot on Oak and Rock Fatherhood, the YouTube channel, and then we're gonna get that site running as well as my group of just end of year items. So I'm actually looking a lot, forward to more longer form content with writing. I stepped away from it a little bit, and then you get that itch, you start diving back in, you start writing, and all of a sudden the words are flowing. So I'm pretty pumped to be bringing the Family Alpha back to life. It's gonna be a good time. And again, it's just about it's me. It's my thoughts. It's my views. It's my perception as to what's going on and how I think men, fathers, and families can better connect. And it's funny. Those were the pillars. I started this in 2015. So from 2015 till 2020, it was men, fatherhood, or men, marriage, fatherhood. That was it. Those were my big three, my columns. I love the number 3. I recently added sobriety. And dude, when I write about my sobriety, it is so freaking personal and satisfying, like just so satisfying to be in a position to where I can write about this because I never thought I could. And to go back to me talking about irrational confidence, I truly never thought I would be that guy. I'm actually, my throat's getting a little tight, so I'm going to override that one. It's we're again back to feelings, Look, it's one of those things. But man, I literally never thought I'd be a dude who could say I'm 1 year sober. That's how much it was a part of me. It was a part of my identity. It was a part of my habits. I did it to feel good. I did it to think good. I did it to feel like a man. I did it to feel like a party animal, to feel young, to feel energized, funnier, all these things. Booze made me that. I was like Ernest Hemingway. I was a struggling artist. I came from this background and I overcame it and I deserved these drinks. And dude, it was all a lie. And I never thought I could break free from those chains. And to a degree, I don't know if I've ever broken from those chains. It's just I carry them now. They don't hold me down. I walk with my chains in my hands and I show people this was around my soul. And now I fly and I can throw these chains over my wings and take off, and to be able to do that, it's one of the most personal things I've addressed. And dude, I'm talking about my kids, I'm talking about my family, but to share my sobriety, that became a 4th pillar on the blog. I'm going to be writing about it quite a bit more. A lot of connections of mine, a lot of people who are going through it as well, both struggling as well as very successful and further down the line than me. I've got a lot of content stored up to be released with them. And dude, it's just a lot of people are struggling. And to be able to write about that from a position, I wouldn't say of authority, but of similarity, of shared struggle. It's like we're all sitting on the round table. We all see each other. We're all equal. And it's not, I've got a year and a half, but I was there with you. The only thing stopping you from a year and a half is just a year and a half from now not drinking. It's not a superpower. It's just time. And so when I see people like me who were like, I can't do this. I'm like, no, I couldn't either. And then I did.
Let me give a shout out to Nick Davis, my Canadian brother, author of Takeoff.
Nice. Welcome.
And a future guest, I believe.
Awesome. Well, You want to wrap things up, JR?
Any more questions for Zach? Who's commenting under the? I don't know who that is right there. What is that?
Yeah, I don't know who's under the Recovery Revolution page. The comments that are coming in via YouTube look like they're spam, so I haven't been putting those on the screen. It's all a bunch of gibberish.
Yeah, I've seen a few of them.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
But we really appreciate you spending tonight with us, man. I mean, that was some gangster stuff right there, man. Come from surgery, say, yo, I got a podcast to be on. See,
It's a real thing, dude.
That's the dedication I demand from Brett, Carl, and Ashley.
I'll be podcasting on my deathbed, JR.
So Ashley said, what's your favorite part of fatherhood? You know, there's a lot, but if I had to choose one, I would say seeing how different my kids are from me, but still seeing myself in them. You know, both of my kids are two individuals. They're living their own lives, and I'm blessed to be able to watch them grow and play a role in that. But they're so different from who I am, and yet I see myself in them every day. And it's an incredible thing. It's very hard to describe, and I'm trying to do my best now for you. But to see somebody who's not you, yet they're the best of you, dude, there's nothing greater. Like, they are literally the best of me, and they're taking it in their own direction, doing their own version of life. And I could not be more proud of the two of them, both my son and my daughter. It's an amazing thing. And I'm very fortunate to have a front row seat to their growth.
I love it, man. I love it. You just let yourself be vulnerable right there, buddy.
I have to, dude. It only works this way.
Yeah.
I only have one mode, man, and it's this on. I'm hurting, so this is a kind of like a condensed, a little bit lower level me, because I'm just trying to push through right now.
Okay, we'll wrap it up.
All right, yeah, let's close out, guys. Thank you for tuning into Recovery Revolution Live. We will be back again next Monday. I can't remember who the guest is, but anyway, please be sure to share this video with people if you found it interesting, useful, helpful. And the audio version of this broadcast will be available about an hour after we wrap things up. So if you're looking for that, you can type Recovery Revolution in your favorite podcast player, and you can find it, subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. I also have my own podcast with new episodes every Wednesday called Recovery Survey. It's a little bit shorter than this. It's usually about 30-minute episodes. I have different guests. They're struggling with all kinds of different recovery from different types of addiction. This week, my guest is named Sue, and she is overcoming an eating disorder and childhood sexual abuse. It's a really great episode. It's kind of difficult. There's a lot of tough stuff that we talk about, but it's a great episode. So if that's something that you'd be interested in, you can find that at Recovery Survey. Until next week, we'll see you next week. Remember, guys, progress, not perfection.